Conner Cordova, MMAWeekly.com, here today with Alpha Male head coach, Mr. Duane Bang Ludwig. Thanks for taking the time today, Duane.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. You as well.
One thing that we got to start off with was 2013 was a huge year for you and Team Alpha Male. I mean, you guys accomplished so many things coming into this. When you took up the position as head coach, what were your goals coming into this position?
My goals were just to get them better, just improve them, even though... Well, I was watching the fights going into it, watching the fights and just studying the films and such and seeing some of the things I felt they needed to work on. I know I got talked slower, sorry. And so with that being said, I knew I had world-class athletes with the dedication of a samurai, so I had really an easy job as far as a coach. I was really blessed in that aspect. So all I needed to do was just plug and play all the drills that I have from the Bang Muay Thai system, and it was easy because they're dedicated world-class athletes and they do nothing but improve. So I have an easy gig as a coach for sure. And it's just little improvements each and every day adds up, and this is the result that we get, wins and victories.
Well, that kind of bleeds over to the next question, because Team Alpha Male has been a world-class team for years and years and years, but it just seems like it's been taking it to a new level, and people call it like this Duane Ludwig effect almost.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And when you were talking about these little drills that you implemented from the Duane Muay Thai system, what were some of those key differences between what they were doing and their stand-up originally?
Well, I'm not quite sure what they were doing before. From what I understand, they were just kind of just brawling, but they weren't really understanding what they were doing or why they were doing it. But now they know when they're throwing a specific strike, where it's supposed to land, why is it setting something else up, what our openings are for them, for us. So I'm just giving them a lot more thoughts and ideas in their brains while they're doing these drills, and making sure that they're mentally alert the whole time, 100% focused while we're in that gym, because we have an hour and a half to train. The hour and a half has to be 100% focused, and I already have that from just them being world-class athletes and coming up through the wrestling anyway. So it's a little bit of traditional martial arts honor and respect with the world-class athletes that I have, with the work ethic of the wrestlers. There's no choice but to get better. So it's a combination of things. It's not just me. It's not just them. It's the skills. It's the traditional martial arts honor and respect that I bring to the table as well. From when I was a child, growing up from 8 years old on, doing my karate, my taekwondo, and my Thai boxing. So it's a good combination that's all come together, and this is what you get. Is just we're just killing people. I'm not killing them, right? We're winning, doing pretty well.
Well, you're getting pretty close.
Say kill.
They're dominating.
So I know even that is a little bit of a weird aspect. They're going in there like we're beating each other up, or they are anyway. So in order for me to feel a bit better about myself, is I'm creating better martial artists. And that's what makes me feel good. So it's good. I'm helping people achieve their goals. I mean, other people's goals, my goals, and that makes me happy.
Well, talking about that elite wrestling, Team Alpha Male has been known for that for a long time. They've had a ton of elite wrestlers come through them. What we've seen in the past, though, and I want to talk to you how you kind of avoid this, when you are dealing with those elite wrestlers and you teach them all this high-level striking and they become really great strikers, they almost fall in love with striking too much. What do you do as a head coach to kind of balance that out?
Yeah, we're not doing just striking or just Thai boxing. I do understand that it is mixed martial arts, and we do get a whole bunch of the fit-ins and the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu all put together, and I'm good at that. I'm good at formulating game plans and drills and classes and structure and order and guidance, so I'm very good at that as well. I have a few good things going for me, and that's one of them as far as structure and organization, and I do know how to take an athlete or take a human being and get him better at his goals, and especially if it's martial art related, pretty easy gig, because that's what I've been doing since I was 8. So it's not hard for me at all, but again, it's not all just me. I have world-class athletes that are dedicated, so it's this formula for success is a couple of key recipe pieces, and it's me, it's the athletes, it's the information. So but all in all, I got an easy gig.
Well, let's talk about one of those athletes in particular. Chad Mendes is one of those guys who has just dominated that division, almost cleaned it out. And up to this last fight, it seems like he's just been destroying everybody. He kind of had a rough time. Not that he didn't put up a dominant performance in his last fight, but Nick Lentz gave him a little bit of trouble. What kind of led to that performance, and what are we doing to change that in camp?
Well, he was fine. He was just sick for the fight is all.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, everything was awesome. He just got sick, and that's just some of the things that you can't really always control. Sure. But that's another thing too. I told the guys we can't always control what's going to happen. There's some things out of our hands. Sometimes getting sick, we just can't control that. Although there are some steps, of course, like washing your hands and washing your around, of course.
What your mom tells you.
Yeah, for sure. Like the simple basic rules. But so I tell the guys, like when we're training, sometimes I want them to come in with limited sleep, too much sleep, eating too much, not eating enough. Some of the variables that we can play with to kind of hinder our training to fight through it. So not every day can be perfect. So let's go ahead and the things that we can't control, let's go ahead and control them, and let's fight through it a little bit. Same thing goes like as far as doing drills. Have one guy spar with a fresh guy each round. There's things like that also that can happen. So there's plenty of variables that you can play with, and that's just. But one of the things too, as far as being sick, I don't want to tell the guys to get sick and then come in and train, but something along those lines, like maybe get an hour of sleep or 2 hours of sleep, or coming with some kind of hindrance and then fight through it, or you at least know what it feels like.
So is that more for them physically to be able to get used to it?
Physically and mentally.
I was gonna say
there's many aspects, especially with the training too. I show the guys the correct drills and techniques to do in the fight and in the training room, but also there's a lot of mental aspects to it as well. But I don't. 3/4 of the guys, like, they don't need that, and a quarter of them, some of them do. They need some of the extra push, and that's my job as a coach, and being able to know the correct triggers to make the athlete to perform to his full potential, whether it's coaching him positively or negatively. Some guys affect, like, you stupid ass, like, keep your hands up, or stay tight. If they want positive or negative, coaching is up to them. But I have to figure out which buttons to push on them. And I think that was one of the things too with Danny Castillo in his last fight. I'm a little bit to blame for that fight because I wasn't giving him the correct information to have him operate on to what I feel he needed to do, because he was a bit reluctant and I didn't want that. So I obviously wasn't giving him the correct information to pull up, to quit being reserved and just let it fly. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm freaking tired as heck. So I'm stumbling, trying to stay awake.
No, these are very good
answers. With Danny, though, as far as that aspect, as far as with the fighters, like with Chad, I know I need to coach him positively. Danny, I need to still figure out some things on to coach him correctly to make him perform to his full potential. And I failed on the last fight because the first round was good, the second, third round, between rounds or during the fight, it just wasn't giving the correct words, I guess, because it just wasn't pulling the trigger like I thought he should have.
Well, let's get to perhaps the guy who really almost built Team Alpha Male. Urijah.
Yeah, none of us would be there if it wasn't for him.
And
that's awesome.
Talk about just a performance that was nothing short of spectacular, taking somebody who was one of the most feared fighters in that division, Michael McDonald, and systematically picking him apart and finishing that fight. Simply, Coach, how do you make great fights and great fighters greater?
It just goes to having a good room full of athletes, and now with the correct drills and information. So they've always had good recipe for success, but they just didn't have the fine details of the striking, or just not just striking in general, but where the where the mind should be when doing the drills, the focus, the desire, the certain things to point out. And even though we train hard, we train smart. That's one of the things too. We train smart. Very few. I don't think any of our UFC fights we've went in with an injury yet, because we do train smart. And I think that's one thing. Before, they used to train a bit hard, from what I understand, and now we still train hard, but we're not stupid about it. We're definitely very smart. So there's four rules I ask the guys: show up on time, get better, get tired, and take care of your partner. Do those 4 things, and we're good. Each and every day it adds up.
2013, huge year for you. Now we're in 2014. What do you want to do with Team Alpha Male this year? Because you guys were, this coach.
Get some world titles. Get some world titles. It didn't happen with the Benavidez fight, but with Chad Mendes, he definitely has a good shot. But Benavidez, we just got to run through another 3 or 4 opponents and get back to the title shot in the next year, or the beginning of the following year, 2015, whenever it may come, and then just get that belt. It's my goal there. I have a couple goals: take care of me and the family. Blow up Bang Muay Thai and get these guys some world titles. So, and to get them world titles is just constant improvement each and every day. I want to get better each and every day. And it doesn't mean to kill ourselves in the gym, but just to get better mentally and physically, and understanding our bodies and our opponents and the drills and the sport and the aspect. And there's just many areas, especially mentally and physically.
Well, thanks, Coach. You have done an absolutely phenomenal job with that.
I know, right? Hell yeah! No, it's fine. It's easy. I have easy clay. I really have an easy job. I really do. But I appreciate it. I'll take all the support. None of us would be there if it wasn't for Urijah and the team putting in the hard work. So thank you guys, and thanks for the fan and the exposure and stuff. I love it. It's
absolutely.
Fun.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Thanks,
it's been great. Conner Cordova, MMA Weekly.